A person of about 40 to 45 years of age sits on the seat back of the plane and took out a piece of paper from his pocket and gave it to a passing air hostess. When she reads it, she lost his senses because it was written on it, "Ma'am, I have a bomb and I want you to come and sit with me." Thus begins the sleep-destroying case of the FBI and CIA. Who was this person, and why couldn't the best agency in the world, the FBI and the CIA, catch him? Hi everyone, welcome back on my channel Short Chronicle. On November 24, 1971, a man named Den Cooper sits in the back seat of Flight 305 from Portland, and he kept his briefcase on the seat next to him. In addition, there were 3 flight attendants, 2 pilots, and a flight engineer. This flight takes off at 2:58 p.m. It had to land at Tacoma International Airport in Seattle after 45 minutes. A few minutes after the flight takeoff, Den Cooper took out the piece of paper from his pocket and gave it to the passing air hostess, whose name was Florence Schaffner. When she reads it, she lost his senses because it was written on it, "Ma'am, I have a bomb and I want you to come and sit with me." In 1971, there were no metal detectors and there was no full authentication of passengers at that time. Due to the lack of modern technology, anyone could carry illegal weapons such as guns, knife, and bombs on a plane. When Florence Schaffner sat down next to Den Cooper, he opened his briefcase, which contained bomb. Den Cooper told Florence his 3 demands that she had to tell the pilot. He said, "I want 2 parachute, $2 lakh, and a refilling truck ready at Seattle Airport before 5 p.m. Finally, Den Cooper said, "If anything goes wrong, I will destroy the plane with bomb." Florence goes to the plane's cockpit where the pilots are sitting and tells the pilot, whose name is William, about Den Cooper's demands. Williams told this whole story to the administration of Seattle. They were also shocked because this was the first incident of plane hijacking in the history of America. The FBI and the local authorities in Seattle were confident that they would catch Den Cooper easily. Therefore, it was decided to accept all the demands of Den Cooper to save people's lives. The flight's other air hostess, Tina Mucklow, was working to relay messages between Den Cooper and the pilot over the intercom. The flight circled around the Seattle airport for 130 minutes. Apart from Den Cooper, the remaining 36 passengers who were unaware of this incident were told that due to some technical issue in the plane, there are problems in landing the flight. The FBI collected $200,000 from the Seattle National Bank and also noted down their serial numbers, took 2 parachutes, and delivered them to the Seattle airport with a refueling truck. At 5:45 in the evening, the plane landed at Seattle Airport, and according to the deal, $200,000 and 2 parachutes were given to Den Cooper, and the plane was also filled with fuel. After 2 hours, the plane took off again from Seattle Airport at 7:36. Den Cooper sent a message to the pilot through Tina Mucklow that "I want the plane's landing gear and flaps to be open, the altitude to be 10,000, its speed to be 320 kilometers per hour, and to take the plane to Mexico City." The pilot accepted all the demands of Den Cooper, but did not accept the demand to go to Mexico. The pilot said that there is no fuel to go to Mexico. The pilot gave Den Cooper 2 choices for refueling: Reno City or Phoenix City. Den Cooper chooses Reno City to refuel. As the plane took off for Reno City, Den Cooper told Tina, who was sitting nearby, to go to the pilot in the cockpit and not come back until I called. Tina closed the cockpit door and saw Den Cooper with something tied around his waist. Then after a while, the alarm that opened the door of the plane went off. The pilot tried to speak to Den Cooper, but there was no response from Den Cooper. 3 hours later, the plane lands in Reno, and the FBI surrounds the plane and then goes inside the plane to arrest Den Cooper. However, they are unable to find Den Cooper any money or bomb. Among the items found by the FBI were a black tie, a parachute he had left behind, and some lit cigarettes. Now there was a question on everyone's mind: at what point would Den Cooper have jumped between Seattle and Reno? The route of the plan was already recorded. Therefore, there was no problem in knowing the jumped location of Den Cooper because the route was recorded. It was found that the plane's door was opened at 8:10. The FBI had no information about Den Cooper. The FBI, with the help of the plane's aircrew, sketched Den Cooper and began a search between Ariel, Washington, and the Lewis River based on information from the recorded flight. This mission was named Norjack. The place Den Cooper had to find was surrounded by mountains, trees, and a river. A large team searched for Den Cooper for several months in the trees on mountain tops and in the river, but Den Cooper, the parachute, and the money were nowhere to be found. After that, America decided to take help from the American people for the first time. The FBI thought that Den Cooper would use the money, so the serial number of $200,000 and Den Cooper's sketch were published in the newspaper. But it was of no avail as no note of this serial number was found in the entire United States. After 9 years later, the FBI got a clue about Den Cooper. A child was picnicking with his parents at Tina Bar Beach along the Columbia River in Sandra, Washington. While the child was playing near the beach, he found 3 bundles of dollars in the sand, which was a total of $58. The parents of these children would take the money to the FBI. The FBI checked the serial numbers and they matched. This was the same money that the FBI gave to Den Cooper. The incident further confused the FBI because Tina Bar Beach, the place where the money was found, was 27 kilometers away from Lewis River where Den Cooper jumped. Now the question on everyone's mind was, how did this money come from Lewis River to Tina Beach? The FBI speculated that after Den Cooper left the plane, Den Cooper dropped some of the money into the Lewis River where it flowed down the Columbia River to Tina Bar Beach. But the problem was that where the Lewis River meets the Columbia River, Tina Bar Beach flowed in the opposite direction from the Columbia River. It was not possible for this money to come from Lewis River to Tina Bar Beach. The temperature where Den Cooper jumped out of the plane was -degrees. So the FBI surmised that when he jumped off the plane, he fell into the river and died of exposure to cold. Then everyone thought that if he has died, where is his dead body? The FBI tried to cover up all the people who saw it, like Den Cooper, but to no avail. 52 years have passed since this event, but the outstanding amount of $9710 could not be found. Who was Den Cooper, where did he live, and what was his real name is the question on everyone's mind. But no one has the answer. This is an FBI case that is still not closed, and the search for Den Cooper continues today.